I
All
got about half.
right, here we go.
All right, cool.
Mr. Auten, thank you for joining us. I'm like super glad, super happy, super elated that you actually took time out of your night to join us.
Well, thank you, Mr. Hickmott. I just figured I'd grab my favorite number one dad mug. I don't know if you realize this, but I was elected number one dad back in 2012 uh, by a completely unbiased group of people, namely my daughter,
I
who
was
was
gonna,
at the
that's a
time.
bold. That's I mean, I'm thinking about all the other dads that are going to be watching the show and thinking, wait, that means they're number two, number three. You've laid the claim that you are clearly number one, no matter what. That's what you're going to
Well,
start off with.
well, you know how it is, Mr. Hickmott. When you're number two, that just means you're the number one loser. So, yeah.
Oh, and you're a coach too, if I remember right. Is this how you coach your kids? If you're
Oh
not
no, not
first,
at all,
you're going to be
not
the
at all,
first
not at all.
loser?
No, it's only about me.
Oh,
When
I
I'm
see.
coaching
I
kids, when
see.
I'm coaching
So
kids, it's
it's
about
about
everybody
you,
else.
your
Yeah.
kids nominate you for number one dad, and that just, I like to see how humble you really are. It's unbelievable. So is this the persona you adopt at school, or is this the real you that's really coming out?
No, this is the only time this comes out is when I'm holding this mug. That's it.
Ah,
The
I
only time.
see. So,
And
well,
I don't even drink coffee.
we're glad you got the mug. So that pretty much means that you got a lot of things that you would like to talk about and kind of share out and let the people know because we know you as a teacher. We got to start off with some general teacher questions. Like, I know we all know you as a language arts teacher, but have you taught anything else anywhere else?
Oh yeah, absolutely. This is my first year in over 20 years of teaching that I'm not teaching social studies. I've always taught both social studies and language arts everywhere I've ever been. So this year has been really, I mean, for obvious reasons, this year has been weird, but um, it's been totally bizarre to me. I don't get me wrong, I love teaching language arts, but not having the social studies piece is really, it's kind of like, I don't know. I feel like I'm missing a limb or something. It just doesn't feel complete. But I'm not upset about it because in the current state that we're in this virtual world we're teaching in, if I had to teach two core classes and prep for both core classes, I wouldn't be able to do both of them justice. There's just no way.
I could clearly see that. I appreciate that, but you mentioned that in the situation that we're in, and I think the common question we often get is like, what are your thoughts on it? But I'm gonna actually flip it on its head. Good. I'm gonna ask you because everyone's had probably a pretty tough year. I actually want to ask you, what do you think is one of the best things that have happened this year for you? What are the things that really seem to kind of come out for you? And regardless of all the big, crazy, wild things that are happening, what's the best thing that's happened to you this year?
Well, I think the best thing that's happened to me this year is, and it's kind of ironic that you asked me that while I'm holding this mug, was, if somebody was going to ask me if we're going to have a worldwide pandemic and you're going to be isolated in your house for 6 months, I would have picked this past year to do it because selfishly, again, number one dad, selfishly, I was able to spend a lot more time with my daughter that I never would have been able to spend with last spring. Last spring, her senior year, she would have been out of the house every night. She wouldn't have been coming home till late every night. I probably would have hardly have ever seen her. But selfishly, I was able to teach her how to play euchre, teach my son how to play euchre. We were playing euchre every night
Oh, that's a
during the
that's a
pandemic.
Michigan. If you're from Michigan, you better know how to play euchre.
Well, especially with my Canadian roots, right? My
Oh,
whole, my
Canadian.
whole
Wait,
Canadian.
wait. Now you're revealing something that many people may not know. And what Canada, or am I even saying that right? What are you talking about
Yeah,
here? I
it'd
thought you're
be,
full blown American.
it would be Canada. Eh? So
Canada, eh?
no, my mom was born Canadian. She was born over in Canada. She came over when she married my dad. They got married in Niagara Falls, and then they moved over here when they were 19. My dad was born in Detroit, but so my mom didn't become a U.S. citizen until about 10 years ago. So she was living here on a green card for over 40 years.
Wow, that's pretty cool.
Yeah.
And they got married in Niagara on the New York side, right? Is that the irony behind it?
No, no, they got married on the
On the
Canada
true
side.
Niagara side.
Yep, on the
Very
Niagara
impressive.
side.
Pretty cool. I'm betting a lot of students and parents don't know that. Okay, you got allegiances on both sides of the border.
I
Pretty
do.
interesting. Well, there's a couple other things like just our constituents want to know. Okay, you are considered the number one chaperone at Derby. Why? Why is that?
Oh, I don't know about that. I think that title belongs to you, Mr.
No,
Hickmott.
no, no. This
Oh yeah.
conversation is not
Oh.
about me. You're
Yeah.
the number one dad.
Look,
You're the
you
next
brought
claim
up
to
number
fame
one
is that you're
chaperone.
the number one chaperone.
If there's anybody in this school that's the number one chaperone, it's that guy right there, Mr.
All right,
Hickman.
that was one of those
Mr.
questions
Hickman
where I
has
was
gone
just
on
fishing for a
every
compliment.
no 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 no
So
no
people that are
no.
watching this, that was directly aimed at me. Yes, I wanted
You
everyone
opened
to
this
know that
you
I'm the
opened
number one
this door,
chaperone.
so we're walking through it now. See, you
But
guys all need to
you
understand
do
something.
go on
Mr.
a lot of
Hickman,
you've been on some great trips here. So we're talking
we
about
have, but
Quebec,
Mr. Hickman's been on every
Chicago.
trip at Derby. If
I
there's
think
been a
you
field
know
trip
what
at Derby,
we've gotten past that question. We've gotten past that question.
you
I
did
laid
this.
it out
Not
there.
me.
Everyone, I am.
No, 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 no,
It's
no,
really
no,
me.
no. Mr. Hickman has been on every field trip at Derby. He is
Almost
like
every.
Mr.
I was
Chaperone.
a day away from going to Costa Rica, though.
That's
A
right.
day away until they canceled this year. So
But
that
he
was
was gonna
interesting.
go. That's the point.
That's
So
okay. If
any
they
field
invite
trip that
me
has
back,
happened at Derby
if they
in the
feel my
past 10
services are
years,
needed, if they invite me back.
in the past 10 years, this guy's been on
I don't one. Yeah, I don't got enough fingers. I don't got enough fingers.
it.
So
but
just throwing, just kind of sidetracking a little. So this was an interesting fact that I found out about you that we just got to know because I'm thinking this would shock the world. Okay, this would shock the world. Okay, think about this. I heard that you lived without a cell phone for years, if not decades, and just recently got one. Is that true? That you've never had a cell phone until like last year?
yeah, well, it's been few more years than last year, but it has been within the last 4 years. And I've got this. See my big cell phone here, right?
Oh,
It's the
that's wow. That's
palm of
solid.
my
That's
hand cell
is
phone.
that new?
Well, this was my wife's old phone. So my wife went back to work to GM this past January. So she got a work cell phone and got herself a new phone. So I got her old phone. So this is like her phone from 3 years ago.
Well, you know what?
So,
We're gonna play a quick little game. Quick little game, and you got to do it. It's a
all right.
classic. It's a classic. Okay. What's the fourth picture in your photo roll right now? Show the
Fourth
world
picture.
what the fourth picture in your photo roll is right now. Quick little
Picture.
game, and I'll show you mine. Let me see. Let me see what I got on mine.
All right. All
What's
right.
the
Let's see
fourth
here.
picture from the end in your photo roll?
Do you mean from the beginning or from most
From the
recent?
end, from the most recent, because
Oh,
usually
most
it
recent.
sorts.
God,
And I'll show you mine.
I have absolutely no idea.
Fun little. You ever play this just to see like show off your tenth photo in there and just to see what's the goofiest thing? Uh-oh. that's that's either a good laugh or
Oh no, this will be interesting. This will fit into one of your other questions about
oh,
what am I
okay.
reading? What am I reading right now?
Mm.
So just to show you, this is how many pictures I take, Mr. Hickmott. This picture, my fourth one from the end, was from August 29th.
Fourth one. I'm trying to think. Oh, that's
So
so long
that's how
ago.
many pictures I take.
So one picture a week is your allotment.
About
Is it
one
data
picture a month.
restrictions?
It's the middle of
So what's the
October.
picture? What's the picture?
So the picture is this is the book I'm reading. I don't know if you can see it.
It looks like a flag.
It is. It's the I don't know if you can see it.
Yeah. We can. It's kind of going in focus, but regardless, what's the title?
So the title of this book is the Confederate and Neo-Confederate Reader: The Great Truth About the Lost Cause.
Ooh, that sounds deep. That
It
sounds serious.
is.
Is that a middle school level book?
No. This is this. Let's put it this way. I wish I would have had this book when I was in college. This would be a great college textbook.
Very interesting.
Basically, without going into too many boring details, it basically just explains the evolution of the Confederacy that leads up to the Civil War, and then all the way up to as recent as 2010, how those race relations and what happened in the South has contributed to society and culture that we're living in right now.
Wow, that's it. I'm a math teacher, so what you just talked to me is all like a foreign language.
Well, the
Eh,
coolest part about the book, though, is it's all primary source documents.
oh,
So the author isn't putting any of his own spin on anything. He's just putting together. He's telling the story of the Confederacy and the Neo Confederacy all through primary source documents.
I'm impressed. I'm impressed. You're a worldly, gifted man, reader. I'm kind of embarrassed to show my picture
No, I want to
now.
see yours.
Mine's not really even that exciting. All it is is a picture of me sitting alone eating lunch in the courtyard. So when you talk about me being somewhat a popular chaperone, no one wants to sit and eat with me.
I
I'm
hey,
literally just
okay,
sitting
there he
there.
goes again. See, I
See?
sit and eat lunch with him almost every day.
Not on that
Don't let
day.
him.
The
Don't
one
let
day
him.
that I
Yeah.
needed you, I'm sitting by myself and there's clear proof. There's no
Where
one
did
in
you get?
there.
Who took that picture for you? What'd you do? Set it on a
Okay,
tree
maybe I
and put your
propped it
text
up
on?
and set up some things and maybe mocked the situation, but the point being driven that I was alone in my time of
So you
need.
took a picture of yourself with your own phone?
There's no one else there to take a picture of me, so I had to take it by myself. So that actually makes the point. It drives the point even further. I was so alone. I had to take my own picture and use a timer. Who does that? Oh, unbelievable.
That guy right there.
Yeah, this guy.
That guy.
Well, I gotta say, I'm actually looking at the time, and this was awesome. I love talking to you. It was great talking to you. We didn't really even get through half of the questions that I had prepared, but I think the great thing is just a little insight into who you are. I mean, clearly very humble, just the number one dad. But
Hey, you said
I
a coffee mug. I had to go find this in the. I don't drink coffee.
you could have drank hot chocolate. I'm drinking hot chocolate from
Usually it's tea. Usually it's tea.
tea too, and
Yeah.
this is actually my favorite mug. I have a lot of weird mugs, but this mug was given to me by a student actually about 2 years ago, and for some reason I just can't get rid of it. I don't know. It's something. I think it's Mario related. I have no clue. I don't know anything about that kind of stuff. No, but this is one of my favorites. So I still drink chocolate and hot chocolate, coffee, all that stuff. I'm not a number one dad, but
Well, like I
it's one of
said,
those
this is
things.
completely unbiased. Obviously,
Unbiased for sure, for sure.
obviously, obviously.
Well, I appreciate you taking the time. Is there any last parting words? Like you got to end it with something like, okay, what would I guess the dynamic question would be, what do you want to leave behind with your constituents, your viewership, students, parents, anything? Or you could even hit a hard-hitting question like if you had to leave a legacy behind, what do you think your legacy would be? We got to end with like the deepest question I can possibly throw out there. What
Wow,
is
that
your
is pretty
legacy?
deep. Well, I guess if you're asking me how I want to be remembered at Derby,
Yeah.
I would like to think that um, students would remember me and staff and just anybody I came in contact with as somebody who was uh, someone who had integrity, someone who people could feel they could come talk to about whatever was on their mind. And I would like to hope that they felt like knowing me was something that helped them become and help them find who they wanted to become and help them. I guess what I'm trying to say is they're a better person because they got to know me. If I could do that, I would love that as a legacy. I would like to think that all my students, after they've gone through Derby, don't remember Mr. Auten's class as much as they remember just the lessons and the time that they spent. I just got them to find out who they are, be reflective about themselves, and really the most important thing to me is just always constantly asking questions and thinking about what they want to do with themselves or what's going on in their lives right now and how can I be the best person I can be. As one of my retired colleagues always used to say, and it's one of my favorite sayings that she used to say is, I hope they leave Derby being an agent of change and be a force for good. And if I can help students and people along the way or kids I coached along the way do that, then I feel like I think I left a good legacy behind because really I don't think anybody's going to remember me for who I was as much as I hope they remember the path I helped them find or started them on at Derby.
That was that was good. That was very deep.
Well,
But I
it's
think
best
they'll
I can.
remember you guaranteed. All right. Don't
Uh,
belittle yourself in that way. But I appreciate those words. Those real nice. But I wish we could talk some more. I thank you for your time. Thank you for, it's late, I know. So thank you for all you do. Guaranteed. Okay.
well, thank you, Mr. Hickmott, and you are truly a treasure, a valued treasure here at Derby, and we appreciate all the things you try to do, especially with the classes that you do with the technology and having the students go out and try these things in this environment. It's a testament to your willingness to do whatever it takes to help these students do the best they can. So we appreciate you, sir.
I appreciate that. That was well. I was like, I thought we were gonna end, and you just, oh, man, I'm a little flushed here. Well, cheers to you, sir. Number one
Cheers.
dad. All
But
right,
thank
legacy and all. Thank you again, and I will see you around the hallways.
Yes, sir.